So it helps to actually charge your iPod before you start filming. So, okay. So back to Lori's video, or question. Things that I started. I know I started The Little Stitcher Wizard of Oz, which I finished. I finished the Primitive Needle, I think it was. No, that's not it. It was the little witch that, or Ghost Girl. I finished that one. I finished something else. I think I finished 3 of the 5. I know I started Paradise Lost, which is not finished. I don't remember what all I started. I'm going to have to go back and look, because I don't remember. I know there was one thing that I finished. Oh, one was that Lizzie Kate Easter one, Little Gray Hair. So I finished those 3, Ghost Girl, Oz, and Gray Hair. I started Paradise Lost, and I started something else, but I don't remember what the something else other one was. So, Okay, so that takes us through the Q&A. Remy is very interested in my Oz item for the day. Okay, so next up is whips, and then I forgot something. Shoot. Crap. Okay, hang on 1 second. Yes, Mary Bear, I know you're excited. We're just leaving it going. Hello again. Before we move on to that, I do want to make one quick comment. It sort of goes along with my thing from last week, but it seems to be continuing. I know there are people out there that watch videos and troll the internet and like to make mean, nasty comments just for the sake of making mean, nasty comments. But get a life. Really? Does it matter how many times I say or what needle minder someone uses on their fabric? Does it really make you feel that much better about yourself? Think about all the time you're spending commenting on videos that you could spend stitching. I'd rather stitch than be a bitch, but that's just me. Alright, so, moving right along. Let's see, so we've got our whip updates, and then what I'm going to start on this week. So first, I mostly finished Tin Man. It turns out I didn't have any beads that I could use, so I have to go bead hunting, but here is the Tin Man. So there will be a discussion on Tin Man probably next week, because this is already starting to go along, but we'll see. We'll see what I'm at time-wise. But Tin Man is finished. I did, like I said, I used sort of the mottled grays. The copper is actually the DMC Light Effects copper mixed with the brown that's in his light brown that's in his axe, and like I think it was one of like the maybe 920, because I wanted it to be a little bit shiny, because sometimes rust can be shiny, but I didn't want it to be like, oh my gosh, shiny. So this is the rusty Tin Man, and eventually I'll do a shiny Tin Man. So, then we went to this month's Magical Creatures, which is Lisa the Gnome, the Forest Gnome to be exact. And I'll show just her, and then I'll show the full piece, although you see a little bit of the frog. So there she is. I was really pleased with how she turned out. There are white spots. Those are going to be purple beads for flowers. I think the only thing that's as charted was the flesh tone. I used a lot of things. I used a ton of Weeks Dye Works. I used some water lilies. The purple in her dress actually was a one-off Gloriana silk from Stitchy Box. That's a Gloriana Tea Princess Pearl over the door there. Chris's Bonbon from Weeks was the tree. So April was a lot of fun and stitched up pretty quickly. And here is my full sampler as of now. So there we go. May is Merlin the Wizard. So we will see what's going to be done next month, because I don't know yet. With regards to Mania, there's going to be a little bit of a delay, because I'm going to stick to the first, I really think I'm going to stick to 15. So May 16th, which coincidentally will be my oldest friend's 30th birthday. She doesn't watch, but, you know, whatever. And oldest meaning friend that I've known the longest period of time. I have officially now, I mean, when we turned 15, I actually had officially hit the point of knowing her longer than I hadn't known her, but, you know. So, May 16th, I'll do the lion, and then I'll do, this one, and then I'll do postcards. Speaking of postcards, I will be finishing it up today, and I made some bold decisions finally. So here's where I'm at on Moscow. I just have the white and the black left to do. This is Ginger Snap from Silken Colors. I'm pretty sure it was either just the threads or it was a stitchy box. I wanted to do sort of a brassy for the outlining things to give it a little bit of to sort of not be just so much bright and intense. And I thought it looked kind of brassy. And then the blue, white, red for the airmail sort of things. So, almost done here. And yes, this one's a little bit off because I accidentally started to row higher than I meant to, so I had to do a little fudging here. But I don't know what that was. Probably the dog running with something. So, there we go. So here we are on Moscow. I'll be finishing this probably, if not before lunch, after lunch. Definitely before the evening is over. And then, that brings me to my whip for the week, which got a little squished. I'm going to go back to working, because I'm almost finished, to Blue Jeans and Daisies. I wanted to get it finished by Mania. I don't think that's going to happen. My goal is, before I'm done working on it this time, to finish out this side, so that all that's left will be the center. So that's the current plan. There's a random thing of beads in there. I don't know why. Which, if they were smaller, would actually be perfect for something else. Alright, so that brings us, I guess, to the Oz item of the week. Because we're at 8 minutes, so we'll save Tin Man for next week. Because we're not going to have as many whips to show. Alright, so one of the things I mentioned last week, apparently I'm on a big 70s kick, was the Megos toy collection. So what I've got, and this is not going to be the easiest thing to show off, so we're going to go kind of piece by piece. So I've got and my witch is wearing one wrong colored shoe, but we've got the dolls. So here's the Wicked Witch, with her broom and her hat. Her hat's missing its little string that would keep it on. So there's the Wicked Witch, and the Cowardly Lion. And those of us who were late 80s, early 90s kids, you'll recognize some of the props, like the broom and his badge of courage. Here's the Tin Man. The Scarecrow's diploma, which I have somewhere. I think it's probably in there. Were reused by the Multi-Toys line. So here's the Scarecrow And he has rooted hair for some inexplicable reason. Let's see. Oh, here's the Tin Man's axe. Glinda and her wand is in... Here's her wand. Glinda with her wand. So they do have some very 70s... They do look very 1970s, which is appropriate because they're from the 70s. The wizard, missing one shoe and I think a hat. And of interesting note, it's actually the penguin doll with a different head. The penguin for Batman, that is. And, of course, here's little Toto in a basket. And Miss Dorothy Gale from Kansas herself, with her ruby slippers. And little yellow bows. And then we have the Emerald City playset, which I'm going to have to kind of show you in pieces. So it came with this apple tree, very 1970s. A fold-out yellow brick road that uses brads so you could shape and curl it. A crystal ball that on one half is Dorothy, and on the other half, Aunt and Uncle Henry. So, the witch's crystal ball, as well as the wizard's throne chair. Because this was actually a really elaborate playset. They made 3. There was a witch's castle, which was not overly elaborate. There was a Munchkin Land that on one half was Kansas and featured the inside of Dorothy's house. And on the other side was Munchkin Land, and there was this thing in the middle. I don't have that, and I don't have the castle, but I do have a not very good condition Emerald City. So here it is. You've got the outside, and like I said, it's really elaborate. You've got doors that open. You have a little peephole where they can be like, not know about it, not know how. Around the back, you have the wizard's balloon and more of Emerald City. Then you open it up, and on the inside, you've got several different things. You've got the Wash and Brush Up Company over there. Over here, you've got the wizard's head, which is on a spinner. So, wizard's head and monster. You've got his little curtain that lifts up, and there's his control panel. And then, the reason it came with a crystal ball for the Wicked Witch, on this side, you actually have the witch's castle. So you had a pretty complete playset in one. When you bought it, it came with the wizard himself. So you got the wizard figure. The Munchkin Land one came with the mayor of Munchkin Land. He was also available separately. And then you had the witch's castle, which I don't think came with anything. It did come with, like, a cauldron and a skull head stick thing that I never quite understood what was supposed to be for. And it, another crystal ball, so you could feasibly have 2 crystal balls. Much to, I'm sure, every parent's delight. Come on. Trying to get it all to go back in. But of even more great interest was, and I know I'm off camera, I'm sorry. I'm trying to seal the door so that I can put this together. Oops. I think I just heard something there. There we go. Was one Christmas, Sears did a red box Emerald City that came with all 7 figures. And they were rumored not to exist for a very long time. Like, it was just a rumor. Like, the Mego Museum didn't have it. No one seemed to have bought it because it retailed for $65. And in 1974, that was ridiculous for a children's Christmas toy. But lately, they've shown up on eBay. So that's kind of my holy grail. One of my holy grails is I would really like a red box Emerald City. So, there you go. So that's the only... I've got enough to keep me happy with a Mego set. I'd really like to get a better shape Emerald City. But there you go. So, alright, well, that is the end of this week's video. Gonna go finish up on Moscow, have some lunch, and I will see you all soon. Bye.